If there's one thing about Kenyans, it's that we notice everything from how you dress to how you cry. And following the passing of Raila Odinga, the entire nation was in mourning. However, we got to see amid the grief a few characters who somehow managed to make it all about themselves. Now, in this long list of performative mourners, the name given to them, one name has stood out like a peacock at a funeral, that being Bolo Bespoke. Fundi ni mjamo? No. Maybe clout chaser ni mjamo, because he was not just a performative mourner, but a selfish one at that.
Performative mourning, let's talk about it. By definition, and I will read so that I'm not misquoted, performative mourning is the public expression of grief that is done to gain social validation or fulfill expectations, often through actions like social media posts, attending funerals, or making grand gestures. It is characterized by being more focused on the performer and less on the deceased, and sometimes can be a superficial display of sorrow that is disconnected from the long, complex process of genuine grief.
But how did we get here? Let's rewind kidogo. Now, from the very beginning, there were signs that Bolo Bespoke was on a mission that looked less like mourning and more like marketing. The first red flag is now a viral clip of him with Mama Ida Odinga. And if there's anything about this clip, it's that it's very telling. See, African women are naturally spiritual and very intuitive. Underline the word intuitive. They can see energy, they can feel it, they can sense it the same way a cat senses fish. So when Mama Ida's face went cold mid-conversation with Bolo Bespoke, her facial reaction told it all. At the same event, she was being warm and cordial to others. Kenyans online saw that something was off. You could literally tell that her aura was saying, nah, I don't like this vibe. Although we do not necessarily know what was going on in that conversation, we could read from her reaction. It became one of those curious moments that leaves the internet speculating, like the detectives that we are. Now, Bolo Bespoke, being the first thinker or first cloud chaser that he is, he didn't let the backlash simmer or anything. He pulled a swift PR move, and within hours he had posted behind the scenes clips of him helping Mama Ida Odinga getting dressed for the events that were ongoing, styling her, captioning the post with emotional tributes. To his credit, it did work. The online flames cooled, but just for a moment. After he posted those clips, some people were like, you guys are overreacting. I mean, Bolo has always been Mama Ida's designer, but not everyone bought this narrative because his actions were a bit too strategic, too timed. It looked like he was doing more of marketing than mourning.
The ones showing up to that widow's face with a videographer 24/7, I could not imagine having lost a husband of that level. And every service provider is coming in my face with their own videographer. If you've worked with this family for 10 years, what are you trying to prove to the rest of us?
This was then followed by the state funeral. Baba was being laid to rest, and many expected the atmosphere to be sacred. This was a final send-off for a man whose name shaped Kenya's democracy. Dignitaries came from all corners. They showed up, and we had even international guests, all people gathered just to pay their respects. But among them, there were also those who seemed more interested in being seen than in seeing Baba off. And according to many Kenyans, Bolo was right at the top. The next day, as most people were still emotionally drained, Bolo was busy uploading photos on Instagram. Not just any pictures, but photos with Uhuru Kenyatta and President Ruto themselves. But here's the kicker. These were taken right by the graveside during the emotional moment when soil was being poured on Baba's coffin. And as if that was not enough, he captioned the post with deeply emotional tributes, but you could just sense that they didn't seem genuine. And if you watched the live proceedings, you probably had the MC constantly urging people to go back and take their seats. Kumbe meanwhile, Bolo was just there pangering with the cameraman, waiting for snaps alongside VIPs. What was the end goal, I wonder? Flaunting connections on the internet? Damn, this new networking is getting wild. Now, let me know what you think about in the comment section. What do you think about this? What do you think about how Bolo Bespoke acted throughout the whole events that we had happening? I mean, the whole nation was in mourning, but Bolo clearly had other motives. Meanwhile, let's look at some of the reactions from netizens online. One netizen had a different opinion than most, saying, "If you have a chance to advertise yourself or your business, please do. The people hating will forget one day, but your business will still be booming. Please let this man rest. He got a chance to work with a big family. He did his job and is using his job to get traffic. Penny break." While another one had this to say, "Funeral blogger of the year. He's doing the most to be relevant," said another. "I saw him beside Ruto nikamtetea anatafuta clients, but now this, no. I agree 100% that huyu ni cloud chaser. I don't see anything wrong with this at all. Most of us will be privileged to be standing next to people who are wise or have made it in life. He's not clout chasing. He's rubbing shoulders with the right ones." Next, ataanza kushonea first lady. "Personally, I'm proud of him because he knows the right people to hang around with." So what do you think about that? It's clear that people have different views, but what we've also been seeing is people even publicly calling him out. So we have a divide once again of people finding his actions very, very wrong, and still some internet users seeing sense and wisdom in what he was doing. So which side are you on? Let us know in the comment section. Don't be afraid to comment, and also remember to always keep it here on BNN for more updates.